also interesting concepts in our today's mathematics digital class. Let us start our mathematics class. So children, today we are going to learn about trip to the Golconda fort, and in this chapter children, you are going to learn history of Golconda, then applications of addition, subtraction, multiplication and also division in daily life, and you will also learn locating numbers on number line. Then you are going to learn about estimation of numbers, and finally children, we are going to learn about the applications of perimeter in our day-to-day life. So children, let us start our session now. Look at the school children here. Here the headmisses and the school teachers, they are planning for a trip to the Golconda fort. Now let us see what the headmistress is planning children now. Yes, before exactly she is going to start the picnic program, she is calculating the distance between the school and the Golconda fort, and she found that the distance between the school and the Golconda fort is 56 kilometers. And also she has inquired that the bus operator is going to charge 24 rupees per kilometer. So this is the information she has gathered children. And also she came to know that the number of students who are going for picnic are 61 and 3 teachers are going to accompany them. Isn't it children? Even when you are going to your picnic, definitely your teachers are going to accompany you, because there they are going to take care of you and also they are going to show you, or they are going to become your guide there, isn't it? And also the entry ticket at the fort was found to be 40 rupees, and in this 40 rupees children, there is a light and sound show included in that ticket. And also children, for food, each person or each student will be charged 20 rupees. Now children, based on all the information given to us, now let us see how much amount has to be paid to the bus agency, and also we will find out how much money is required for the purchase of tickets at the Golconda fort. So children, let us answer the first question, that is, how much amount has to be paid to the bus agency. So for that children, we should know the distance between the school and the Golconda fort, and it is how much children? Absolutely right, it is 56 kilometers. Now what is the total distance? 56 plus 56. So I am taking it approximately as 60 kilometers. Instead of 56, I am taking it as 60 kilometers. Going to Golconda fort 60 kilometers. Again coming back from Golconda fort to school is another 60. So total how much children? Yes, 120 kilometers. This is the approximate distance children. And it is also known to us that the cost per 1 kilometer is 24 rupees. Now for 1 kilometer is 24 rupees. Now for how many kilometers we have to find the cost children? Very nice, that is 120 kilometers we have to find the cost. Now let us find that children. Now amount to be paid is equal to how much? Yes, the number of kilometers, that is 120 into the cost per kilometer, which is 24. Now let us multiply them children. Yes, on multiplying you will see that we got an amount of 2880 rupees. That means we need to pay the bus agency an amount of 2880 rupees. Now children, let us answer the second question, that is, how much money is required for the tickets at Golconda fort. So children, what actually the information is needed for this? Yes, you need to know the information regarding the number of students who are going to the Golconda fort, and also you should know the ticket per head. So per head how much amount is charged and how many students are going into the Golconda fort. So, these two are needed to us. Now, let us calculate, children. So, given the number of students are 61 and so the cost of the entry ticket is 40 rupees per head. Now, we will find out the money required for the tickets. So, that is 61 students into 40 rupees. On multiplying this, you will get 2440 rupees, which means we need to pay 2440 rupees for the tickets. Got it, children? Now, let us calculate how much of cost is needed per head. So, for that, first we need to find out the amount to be paid at the agency. So, we already calculated, we got 2800. Then amount for the tickets at Golconda fort, that also we have calculated, we got 2440. Now, apart from these, children, there is cost for food also, isn't it? So, 61 students are there and what is the cost per one student, children? 20 rupees. Now, just multiply these two, how much you get? Yes, it is 1220 rupees. Now, let us find out the total cost, children. So, that is obtained by adding all these numbers, right, children? That is 2800, 2440 and 1220. On adding all these, you are going to get, yes, 6460 rupees. So, children, this is the total cost. So, we will round off because there might be some other expenses also, like maybe parking charges or some toll gates, etc. So, for all these things to be considered, then the amount to be paid by each student is calculated as 110 rupees. The student who wish to go to the Golconda fort should pay 110 rupees, children. Now, this includes your bus ticket, apart from that the ticket at Golconda fort, then your food and other expenses also, children. I hope you understood the concept, children. Let us move on to our next concept, children, now. So, the trip has planned on the date mentioned on your screen. Now, children, write this date specifying the day, month and year. So, this is the date, children, 10, 11, 12, this is the date. And children, you know that here this represents the day in that month and 11 represents the month in the year and this 12 represents the year itself. So, children, this is 10th and 11th month. What is 11th month, children? Yes, it is November and this is 12, that is 2012. That means we can say that the trip is planned on 10th November 2012. So, on this day the trip has been planned. Okay, children. Now, all the students have gathered exactly at 7 o'clock, children. You can see all have gathered and yes, finally the bus has arrived and all the children are excited to get into the bus. So, students all gathered at 7 o'clock, but the bus arrived 20 minutes late. Then all the children got into the bus and they were seated comfortably and it took around 15 minutes for them to settle down. And then, children, let us ask me a small question over here. Right. At what time did the bus arrive at the school, children? Absolutely right, at 7 a.m. in the morning, right? And what about the time they start the journey? That means at what time they start the journey? So, if you notice, yes, it is a correct answer. They started at 7:35 a.m. in the morning. How? They all gathered at 7 a.m. isn't it, children? Then after 20 minutes bus has arrived and 15 minutes for them to settle down in the bus. So, 20 plus 15, 35 minutes. So, after 7 they took 35 minutes to settle down and at exactly 7:35 the bus started for Golconda. And on the way, children, the bus has stopped at petrol pump. So, children, you know that diesel is needed for the vehicle to move on, right? Now, before the person fills the diesel, let me ask few questions, children. If the bus travels 5 kilometers with 1 liter of diesel, then how much diesel is required for the trip? So, let us calculate, children, how much diesel is needed. So, for that we need to know the distance between the school and the fort. It is 56 kilometers, isn't it, children? And we have taken it as 60 kilometers approximately. Then what will be the total distance, children? Because for going it is 60 kilometers and coming back also it is 60 kilometers. That means 2 into 60. This gives us, yes, 120 kilometers. This is the total distance travelled. Okay. And now distance travelled by the bus with 1 liter of diesel, how much? It is given as 5 kilometers. That means when we use 1 liter of diesel, we can travel only 5 kilometers. Now let us see how much diesel is needed for the entire trip. So that is the total distance 120 kilometers divided by 5. Now this on division, you can notice, children, here we are dividing 120 with 5. So 5 goes 2 times in this. So 10 to here, and then we bring this 0 here. 5 goes 4 times, 5 4 is 20. So you got the remainder as 0. That means the answer what you got is 24. That means the diesel required for the entire trip is 24 liters. So children, let us take one more question, children. Now if 1 liter of diesel cost 54 rupees, then how much will the bus driver has to pay at the petrol pump? So children, now here the cost of 1 liter of diesel is given. How much? 54 rupees. This is the cost of 1 liter diesel. Or how much liters of diesel is required here? Yes, we need 24 liters. Therefore, amount to be paid at the petrol pump is given by number of liters, that is 24 into cost per liter, 54 rupees. Now let us multiply these two numbers, children. So multiplying 24 and 54. So 4 4 is 16, 1 carry, then 4 2 is 8 plus 1 9, then 5 4 is 20, 0, and 5 2 is 10 and 12. And adding these two numbers, you get 1296. So at the petrol pump, the driver has to pay 1296 rupees. So children, now take a look at the screen. Wow, have you recognized this, children? Yes, we have arrived at Golconda Fort. This is the Golconda Fort, children. Now here if you see, all the children are gathering here. But why? To see the guide map of this Golconda. Now how to enter, from where to enter, and how to move and come back. So all these things will be given on this map, children. And they are going to show you all the places where we need to visit. That every information is given on this guide map, children. Okay. Now let us start our journey into the Golconda Fort, children. So here you can see the different places in Golconda. The Golconda Fort was built on a 400 feet high stone hill. So children, we have entered into the Golconda Fort. But children, do you know how this name Golconda has come to known? Let's see, children. Do you know how this Golconda is named, children? Yes. The fort has got its name from the Telugu words Golconda, meaning shepherd's hill. That is how the name has come, children. And also it is known that a shepherd boy had found an idol lying on the Mangalavaram hill and told the king, who had got a mud fort built around it in the year 1143 AD. So that means, you know, children, so this was actually first built with completely mud only, children. Then later this fort was made bigger and stronger in the year 1500 AD. And by the end of 1590 AD, this entire Golconda Fort has a very strong boundary wall made up of stone, and the perimeter or the boundary wall is of length 10 kilometers. So this boundary wall is nothing but what, children? Yes, in mathematics we call it as perimeter. Now children, whatever the concept that we have seen or learned about Golconda, let us learn, or let us have a small quiz on those things which we have learnt in the previous session, children. Let us see that. About how many years back was the mud fort built on the Mangalavaram hill? So, I am going to give you options also, children. So, A is 500 years back, and B 700 years, C 900 years, and D is 400 years. So, tell the correct option, children. Yes, absolutely right. It is 900 years back. Let us move on to our next question, children. About how many years back were the walls of the fort built in stone? So, and your options are A 700, B 600, C 500, and D 400 years. So, the correct option is C. That means 500 years back it was completely built with stone, that is the walls of the Golconda fort. Children, let us represent the following on the timeline given below. At the year in which the mud fort was made, and the century, that means 100 years. You know century means 100 years, right children, in which the fort was made longer and stronger. And also we are going to represent the current year. Let us see, children, the first one, that is the year in which the mud fort was made. So, children, recall that the mud fort was made in the year 1143 AD, which means we need to represent this 1143 on this timeline. It is just like a number line, isn't it, children? You can see 1100, 1200, 1300, so on up to 2100 is given to us. Now, where does this 1143 lie on this timeline, children? Yes, you are absolutely right. It lies between 1100 and 1200. Now, let us mark this 1143 in between these two. So, let us mark, children. Yes, and we will mark it as 1143 AD. Understood, children? This is how we mark the numbers on a number line, or here it is a timeline. Let us move on to our next question, children. That is the century in which the fort was made longer and stronger. So, children, we already learnt in the year 1500 AD, the fort was made longer as well as stronger. Now, on this timeline, where is 1500, children? Yes, you are right once again. Let us mark a point over it and represent that value 1500 AD. Let us move on to a third question, that is the current year. So, what is the current year, children? Yes, 2022, isn't it? Children, let us look at this 2022 on the timeline or the number line. So, where does this 2022 lie, children? Yes, in between 2000 and 2100, isn't it, children? Now, exactly at the middle I will draw a line. Now, this represents 2050. Now, our 2022 is less than this 2050. So, in between these two I am going to mark this 2022. Let us mark this, children. Yes, I am marking a point over there. Have you seen, children? And this gives 2022. Now, let us learn about Golconda fort now. So, take a look at this image shown on your screen, children. Yes, this is called Fate Darwaza. Do you know what this means, children? Yes, these words Fate Darwaza means the victory gate. Now, this is 25 feet height, children, and 13 feet wide. Such a huge gate, isn't it, children? And not only that, children, it is made up of completely teak wood, which is studded with steel spikes to protect the fort against the enemy elephant charge. That means, whenever the enemies they attack the fort with the help of, say, elephants. So, the elephants can easily break this teak wood also, right, children? So, that is why they used to put steel spikes, so that even the elephants cannot break the gate. So, this is called the Fate Darwaza. Got it, children? Now, let us see some more images. Now, here there is an interesting thing to observe here, children. Suppose if you are going to clap or shout under this dome, say you are clapping or maybe you are shouting. Now, the same thing you can hear the sound at Bala Hissar Pavilion. So, children, later we are going to see about Bala Hissar Pavilion. Okay, please remember this. Now, this is the highest point of the fort and it is almost 1 kilometer away from this dome. Even then we could hear or we can hear the sound of a clap, or even if a person is shouting, we can hear it very clearly. But what is the purpose of this dome here, children? In the past, this service is mainly used to warn if any enemies are attacking us. Now, if they shout at this dome and the persons who are at Bala Hissar Pavilion, they can hear the sound and they get alert. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, absolutely great, right children? Now, let us see some more images, children. You can see, you will find a mosque, Bala Hissar Pavilion you can see, and also there is another image. There are around 380 steps, children, to reach this Bala Hissar Pavilion. I already told you, children, what actually is the importance of that. So, at Bala Hissar Pavilion, we can hear the sounds, maybe of claps, or maybe if somebody is shouting, you can hear clearly at that point. Okay, children? Now, we are at the Balasur Pavilion, children, which is the highest point on Golconda Fort. Now, from there, if you look at the city, now you can see the images, children. This is how the city looks from the top of the Bala Hissar Pavilion. So, it looks very amazing, children. See, you can see all the buildings and all appearing to be very, very tiny, isn't it, children? Yes, and they look beautiful also. Now, coming back here, you can see a garden over here, and this is called the Nagina Bagh. You can see, children, how beautiful this is, made up of different shapes. You can see a rectangle, a square, and a lot of greenery all around this park. So, we call it as Nagina Bagh. Now, what is the importance of this bagh? Let us see, children. Now, the garden has various square and rectangular shaped grass coat patches. Now, let us quickly see some questions. Here we go, the first question. If a square shaped patch has a 2 meter side, then what is its perimeter? So, children, let us see the solution to that. So, here is the square shaped patch over here, and its side is 2 meters. That means, all the sides will be 2 meters only, children, because it is a square. Square means all the 4 sides will be same or equal. Now, you already learnt in your geometrical classes, right, that perimeter refers to the total length of the boundary. That means, if we add these 4 sides, this complete boundary, that represents the perimeter of the square. And it is also given the side of the square as how much, children? Yes, 2 meters. Now, let us find its perimeter, children. So, perimeter of square shaped patch is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That means, we are adding all these 4 2's. So, I am adding all these, what do you get, children? Absolutely right, we get 8 meters. That means, the perimeter of the square shaped patch is 8 meters. Let us move on to our next question, children. That is, if this patch is lined with bricks of length 25 centimeters each, then how many such bricks are needed to line the patch? So, let us see, children. So, length of the brick is given as 25 centimeters, and we have already calculated the perimeter of the square. How much, children? 8 meters. 8 meters means, yes, 800 centimeters, because 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Then the number of bricks needed to line the patch is given by 800 divided by 25. Let us divide 800 with 25, children. Now, here you can see 25 goes in this 80 3 times, that is 75. Then 80 minus 75 you get 5, bringing the 0 here, it becomes 50. Now, 25 goes in 50 2 times. So, the answer is 32. That means, on dividing 800 by 25 you get 32, which means, what can you write, children? Yes, the number of bricks needed to line the patch are 32. Got it, children? So, 32 bricks are needed to line the patch. Now, take a look at this Golconda Fort guide map, children. Yes. We have already learnt that the perimeter of this fort is about 10 kilometers, isn't it children? Yes. So, here take a look at this image shown on your screen children now. Yes, it looks wonderful, right children? This fort, that is the Golconda fort, has 8 gates and 87 semicircular bastions like this. So, what do you call this children? This one? A bastion. Okay, it will be semicircular. Semicircular means half of a circle. So, like this, how many are there all around Golconda covering 10 kilometers? Yes, 87 semicircular bastions are there and 8 gates are there. And what is the purpose of these? So, in those days, soldiers are being placed here. Okay. So, these soldiers are used, they used to guard so that no enemy enters into the fort. That is the reason of having these bastions and gates. Got it children? Now, let us answer a small question based on this gates and bastions children. So, if 9 soldiers are stationed at each bastion and 2 at each gate, then how many soldiers would be protecting the fort? Now, let us calculate this children. So, we know that there are 8 gates and how many bastions are there children? 87 bastions, and is also given that number of soldiers at gate, each gate is 2. So, 8 gates are there and 2 at each gate. So, 8 into 2 you get 16 soldiers at these gates, and also it is given that at each bastion there are 9 soldiers guarding or protecting. So, 87 bastions are there. So, 87 into 9, let us multiply this 87 with 9, you get 783. So, there are 783 soldiers at these 87 bastions. Now, on total how many are there children protecting the fort? Yes, 16 plus 783. So, total 799 soldiers are there protecting the fort. So, children, till now we have seen about the various concepts that are attached with our Golconda trip, and finally, we move on to the most interesting thing in the Golconda fort, that is the light and sound show. Let us see that children. So, here you can see children the light and the sound show. This goes only in the evenings children. Please do not miss this light and sound show. It is very interesting and beautiful also to watch children. So, again we have come back to the school at 7 p.m. in the evening. So, children, till now we have seen the different concepts that are related to the trip of Golconda. So, we have learned the historical facts. Apart from that, we have learned even the application of mathematical concepts which are related to the trip. We have learned about additions, subtractions, multiplications, divisions, representing on number lines. Like this, we have learned lot of concepts in a trip. That is really wonderful. It is a very good educational trip, isn't it children? Children, before we conclude, I would like to give you few problems as assignment. Please complete this and show to your teacher. Let us see the first problem children. How wide and high is your school gate? So, children, calculate the height and also width of your school gate. And about how many times is the length of the Fate Darwaza than your school gate? So, you need to compare your school gate with the Fate Darwaza. Okay, children. And finally, about how many times more is the width of the Fate Darwaza than your school gate? So, compare the width of your school gate with that of the Fate Darwaza. Got it children? So, children, with this we have come to the end of our mathematics digital class. I hope you have all enjoyed learning the concepts while going a trip to a place. I hope you all go to this place and learn all the concepts that are related to mathematics, and also complete the work which is given to you and show to your teacher. So, with this we have come to the end of our mathematics digital class. We will meet in our next digital class. Until then, goodbye, take care and happy learning.